It should be fairly sweet and short.
Yeah, well, I guess something like that, you got a full pipe picture.
Where's the other picture on it? Any ideas how I can order?
Yes.
Just a visual, certificate of appropriateness, it's in the historical district, recommendations. The whole building's being updated, right? This is here, the owner's here, and then the.
Leave that one on.
And it's,
Yeah, that's
Looks like it's going to be quite they have raw, you know, red paint.
that's where he's done, he's okay. Yeah. He gets actually when back on his
Let's do the certificate of appropriate next. Who's here for this? Oh, Scott, come on up. Let's go through this.
So my wife and I made this beautiful investment in our house in Valley West. But anyway, we met with the Historic Preservation Group a couple weeks ago, and we've been working with Glenn. The outside of the house needs some work, as you can see. So we, the outside is where the Historic Preservation comes in. And in meeting with them, we took a look at the front porch first. The front porch is not the original front porch. We have pictures of it. So in our conversations, there was a conversation about actually removing the front porch and putting a nice stone stoop there, which I think we were in favor of after we talked about it as well as they were. So I think, you know, that's something that we'd like to move forward with. The other thing is the house has always just been white, trim's white, wood, the siding is white, everything is white. So what we discussed was changing it, going with a sage color. It's a green. I got a picture of a building that we just did that is the same sage green off the Benjamin Moore historic color chart. So, and it is with white trim. I think it would just make it look a little nicer. You know, like I got a picture of what we just did, and we'll share that so you can see. In the white trim.
You present this to Historic Preservation?
Yeah, we met on site with those guys.
Did they offer any written commentary?
Frank is here.
I'm
to
here.
speak
I'll
on
come in after.
behalf of what they.
So we're happy with the siding, with the color change. I think it's great. And yeah, absolutely. The porch, originally Scott was going to restore the porch. It's not an original porch, so we gave him the option of taking the porch down. There's a beautiful front door with a side light and a top light. I think it would be actually very nice. It's probably, the house is probably from 1880 or so, and that porch looks about 1920 to me. But we were pretty adamant that we'd like it to see it, if he takes the porch down, have a stone stoop out there, like all the other buildings along Main Street, Hurley, as opposed to like just a wooden stoop.
And the stoop would not be roofed or would be roofed?
It wouldn't be roofed, I guess.
Yeah. What? Yeah, we discussed we would not.
I mean, I just printed out a picture of my house, which, you know, you just have the front door with the side lights with a nice stone stoop.
Okay, I see. Beautiful.
No.
Yeah. But I think that's why we think it's important that it's a stone stoop and not a wooden stoop. Or Scott could restore that, he would get meet our conditions.
I'm happy to work with the stone soup.
So what are the outstanding issues that are relative to appropriateness?
We're gonna keep the wood siding, the wood trim around the windows. I think the only issue that comes into play is we wanna replace the windows. We don't wanna leave the windows that are there with the old pulleys, and so they're not really feasible. So we talked about replacing them with replacement windows, fiberglass. There was some concern from a few of the board members about replacing them with wood. Those pictures that you guys just looked at, we left the wood around the windows, and
So just the insert?
just the internal part of it, the grill would be, I mean, but it's, the wood that you see around the windows would remain. You probably won't see it, I mean, you really can't tell from those photos.
The outer trim?
Yeah, so basically it'd be an insert that would not be,
An insert, Scott, what material?
it'd be fiberglass.
Fiberglass?
It's economically, it's a big difference, it's almost 4 times as much to go to the wood on wood, and that is a big difference for us too. So we would like to do that. I think the board was kind of split on it. I think there was people in favor and people that, were not, but
And what are the grills that you're gonna put in the windows?
they'll actually be 2/2, just like this. And then when we go-
Are they simulated divided light, or are they grills in the airspace?
They are similar.
Yeah, so as Scott explained, the board, we have a 4-member board right now. 2 were okay with the fiberglass windows, and 2 would like to see the wooden windows. I think personally, I'm okay with the fiberglass windows, because once the screens go on, it's just the sash you're seeing. I mean, he's keeping the wooden frame of the building, so it's just the inserts that he's, dealing with, which would be white to match the white trim.
Yeah,
Just like his
I
pictures.
totally get it, yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
So the board was split, but you guys make the decision, so.
I have no problem with
What about
fiberglass.
the black room that you were gonna remove, or you?
Yeah, on the back of the house, but I think that didn't come
That
into.
that has no concern of, well, we can't see from the street. And Scott's already done a beautiful job repairing the barns in the back, painting them, they're in great shape. He's just been on hold with this. And currently, this is probably the ugliest tooth in the historic district, so it'll be nice to see this one fixed up, so.
And as Glenn pointed out, there is an addition that's kind of new, but I call it new, it's not as old as the house, it's probably from the 40s or 50s, that's fallen off in the back. We're gonna take that off and replace it with the same footprint. But when I met with the preservation committee, they said that was you can't see it from the road, so therefore it's not part of their.
Well, I agree, the windows and the
I
grills
worked
you're
with
not gonna
Glenn.
see either, so I don't really even see it from my point of view as much of an issue. I mean, you have to be right on top of it in order to get this.
Yeah, I mean, those pictures shared are kind of.
Can I keep these? Are those the colors?
Anybody from the board have any questions, comments at this point, anything to add? And I have a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried.
Thank you.
I'll be done by the right time.
All right, we're on.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, guys.
Next on the agenda, Route Levine site plan, special use permit. This will be a continuation of the public hearing, which was recessed in July. Motion to reopen the public hearing. Wayne? Second. Second? All in favor? Carried. Public hearing is now open. Come on up.
Hello, everyone.
If I get the map up there, right?
Yeah.
Is there a newer one? The last one I had was April.
Is that what I told you? This is up now?
Yeah, I haven't had anything since
Can you
April.
move the orange just a little bit? Maybe make a rotation.
Even if you can't see it. Okay, you might want to distribute them, and I ask that he doesn't do that the night of the meeting. I stay for
These days, 9/9.
More or less. Yeah.
Very common.
Today. How about the presses? So why don't you just bring us up to speed on the most recent developments? Maybe Steve could offer some commentary on where you stand with the health department, just kind of get us current.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Quinn Luke. This is my wife, Lisa Levine. We have a property, 2 properties on Morgan Hill Road. We've been going back and forth with our special use permit for one of the properties, which is about an 8-acre parcel with a house and a cabin, and we're adding 2 tents, sleeping 6 people. So most recently, we had a few members of the planning board out for a site visit, and we walked the property and indicated where the tents would be, indicated what we'd be doing for parking, and what we'd be doing for waste. And in July, we had some issues brought up by some of our neighbors that we have responded to, each one in a letter to the board, and then many of the comments, many of the questions we also spoke about during the site visit. So I think the most notable issues were questions about parking, and we have, what we furnished you with here tonight is an alternative to the initial plan, which is still viable. The first plan is viable. It would be more of an investment actually on our end to level the area that would enable us to use the first proposal. And this one gives us a little bit more parking as far as number of spaces. So we just indicated with the space that we have what we're capable of doing. Steve's been working with some of the issues that were brought up about septic. And also, he is the one who helped make that proposal for the parking. So maybe I'll let you speak to any of those points that you'd like to.
Sure. Let's see. Regarding the 10 platforms and the proposed use, we're planning on them, those people that are attending the facility, to use an outhouse. We did some site testing to confirm that there are adequate soils to meet the state requirements for an outhouse. We did a couple of deep test pits. So we're confident, I'm confident that the regulations are met related to the users of the tents. We've also done some other exploratory looking around to see if we can make any improvements to other septics, although we did go out of our way to dye test the cabin and the schoolhouse, just in good faith to make sure that those systems were operating well to the best of our knowledge. And we sent flow into them a good amount over a number of days. I inspected them. I think three follow-up inspections over the course of 5 days. I found no evidence of dye, so I'm confident they can handle the flow that we expect them to see.
So aside from the dye, there are no other indications of system failure, smell of effluent, unusual abnormal growth in the absorption field, anything like that?
We didn't find anything that broke out. We did find some part of the septic discharge was not going to an underground system for the cabin, and I've been in touch with the health department about that, and they would consider any improvements to that system, which I believe have been that way for many years, to be a repair, and I have that in writing from the health department. So we've done some digging, test pits analysis, percolation tests, and so we're talking about how we're going to fix that situation. I'm confident that it's going to be done in a manner that's protective of the environment and Mr. Quinn's well and all the things that are important for septic approvals.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask members of the public who are attending this specifically for this application to give your names to Lisa. I know you've done this in the past, but it's a reopening, and hopefully you will give us your comments and questions. Questions from anyone?
I'm Denise Lowiat. I'm a neighbor. And you mentioned a new parking plan. Did we see that?
The parking plan is here, yeah, you're welcome to have a look at it. It's a parking plan for 150. for our property, our house. Yeah.
And they have
Absolutely,
insurance?
and I can get you a copy of it.
Okay.
They
My
have- you
other
wanna-
question was regarding the septic, the amount of flow that you have. Did that reflect the increased number of occupants when you did those tests?
Yes.
Yeah, there were about 6 people staying on the property throughout the course of the week that we did the dye test. So it was during the period of time when we were at full capacity and it was being used regularly, and that's when we did it.
So the parking,
Up on the table behind you, one set we have, if anybody wants to come and take a look or. It's gonna be this way, Joe. There's parking, but what is it, John's Way or
there are a lot of bushes here and here.
Can you tell me in the back of your property, okay, about 3/4 back, you got a big geo back there, and you got an outhouse back there that's been there for about a year now, or not more. Do you have permits for that?
We are.
You need to get permits for that
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. We've actually been in touch with Glenn Hofstadter about all of the permit issues.
Right.
And we have every intention of complying with what he asked us to do for everything that was, even the things that were brought up on the property last
That's
time.
fine.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
fine. No, that's fine. And as long as you're not parking on Morgan Hill Road, then you're not bothering me.
Right, correct. We're not, I think once a year when we have my birthday party, Joe,
Yeah.
you might see a car or two, like most people along our road.
Well,
when they have a big
it's
party.
dangerous out there.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
very dangerous.
Absolutely, but as far as the use that we are applying for this permit, there will never be anybody parking on the road.
Well, just so you know, in the future, anybody riding their bicycles out of your place, driving down the road, okay, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Joe, we live there. We go in
Okay,
and out
but-
every day, so.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah.
Because a girl got killed right in my driveway.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
walking her bicycle.
Okay.
Okay, so you gotta be very careful there.
I hear
I
you.
live on a turn where cars flip over and everything right in front of my house. Because they don't take their time. I'm just very concerned
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
And we are too. We have a
Yeah, but
40
you're catty-cornered from me, and when you're parking on that side of the road,
Yeah.
it's illegal to park there. It really is. Okay, but as long as you take care of the parking, I don't care what you do.
When you pull in our driveway, there's a little sloped area down there towards the very front right corner. And the initial plan accounted for a parking space being where that slope is. So we would have to fill that area in to make it level to be able to
Where
have
the
parking
hedges
space
are.
there.
Where the
Yeah,
hedges
no, just to the right of the garage.
Yeah.
Closer
Yeah.
to the garage.
But the new.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The new plan kind of shifts things over and takes more use of the space
Right.
by the maple tree so that we don't
If you
have.
got permission to put that in there, that's good.
Absolutely.
Will they be able to turn around?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We've been turning around every day in the driveway in this space that is left once the parking is built.
And we're gonna further extend it so it'll be even easier to turn around.
That's good.
Did you see Denise, the plan?
Yes, I did. Yeah, that's much better.
Joe, you gave your name to Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. Comments?
The only other comment I think I've mentioned is we've had a couple of wet years, but Morgan Hill is notorious when we have a dry year, that wells go dry. And my concern is that I'm probably on the same aquifer as you are. And if you're having that much increased use, what's going to happen to the water table? Because once the summer is done, we'll still be there, and I have concerns what, has any address in terms of the additional water use. Because for the 40 years I've been there, until we came, we had, like, we're talking about one person only next door, and they would have 1 or 2 people maybe, and then the same thing, it was always like a couple in your other property, your larger property. So when you increase that by quite a few, what happens in a dry year?
Yes, but I don't have that much experience with it. I mean, the one thing that I would say, Denise, is that if we entered that position, we would be fully prepared to offset the water use, if need be. I don't have enough experience with what the demands are and how that works, but we would certainly be happy to offset the use.
Steve, can you speak to that at all?
It's often hard to predict the impact of a little additional water use. It's really hard to predict. And I have a lot of experience in that area to know how deep the wells are, what their yields are, and the seasonal fluctuations. So I can just say there's a lot of variables, but
There's no way to calculate
if I gave
demand.
these more, then that'd be a stretch. What's that?
You can't calculate demand per person for the proposed use. There's no table that can give you something like
Oh, as
that.
far as amount of flow per person?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's almost equivalent to, closely equivalent to the septic flow. So per bedroom, usually we do 2 people in a bedroom for 110 gallons, so roughly 50 gallons a person a day at most when you're using water saving fixtures. So that well, you could add that up and say that could be a potential use.
The other thing that I would say, Denise, is that drinking water is 100% provided by us in 5-gallon jugs. No drinking water is coming from the well. And people are just there for 2 nights, and many times people don't shower. There's not a lot of heavy showering, heavy water use. It's, a lot of it is being, people are just using the bathroom, and we have outhouses where the people are going to be staying on our property. People are staying on our side of the property. So as far as the house that you're speaking of, which by the way is the parcel that's adjacent, that's not part of the special use permit, but that we've indicated there would be some lake crossover. There's not heavy water use there. But we'd be happy to be in touch about that. We want to make sure that, we don't overuse.
Any other comments, concerns from the public? Questions? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Second. All in favor? Aye, carried. So rather than, we're going to take up the discussion on this in old business. I want to get a few of the smaller applicants done rather than having to sit through lengthy discussion. Anybody have any issue with doing that? Jump around the agenda a little bit. Okay, so we're going to take up the discussion on this shortly. Lisa, can we do Mrs. Broadhead next?
Yes. And she and her husband.
Okay, Mrs. Broadhead, come on up, front and center. Lisa's going to post a map. Come on up and just give us an explanation of the proposal.
This is your septic system now. I don't know if you can use this at all.
No, we
I don't
can't.
really understand it.
And then, yeah, I didn't, we don't have a whole heck of a lot on this.
This is various.
This is just for visual assessment. It's up on Eagle's Nest.
They're in front of the ZBA, and then there's a lot line adjustment or deletion.
I am familiar with the property and it's for the board for visual assessment. Even where it's situated and the nature of what I'm proposing, that I don't see any adverse engineering impact whatsoever.
And I think it's, from what I can tell from this view, it's pretty
It's
secluded.
pretty secluded, it's surrounded by mature vegetation.
Yeah, it's not near any escarpments. Mr. Broadhead, I actually came and visited you on this property about 15 years ago. We had a nice, yeah.
Yeah, this was the street
Visit,
view
yeah.
I came up with. This is approximately like your location for your road.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really, trying to pull up as much
Yeah,
visual as
totally.
I could.
I mean, gentlemen, it's your call, if you want to site visit it, but I've been on the property and I cannot do any way, shape, or form see that this has any impact even on the neighboring property. So, anyone have a motion to approve the visual impact review?
It's seeker type 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, is your seeker?
For resident, yeah.
So, motion to grant approval and classifies as secret type 2?
Okay, so Ray made the motion, I believe. Who seconded? Henry seconded. All in favor? Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome, God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Thank you very much.
So what can we do next?
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome, I'll send you a letter.
Oh, yeah, can we do that? That's Spencer Road. Okay, come on, Spencer. Are they both going to be relatively straightforward? All right, let's do the visual assessment for the pool. Yeah, do we have a review on that too?
No. Yes.
How you doing, Brian?
Good evening. My name is Jessica. I'm here on behalf of Mitchell and Deborah Leff for 100 Spencer Road, application for a swimming pool. So it's a visual assessment. This is not obviously the swimming pool that has been built, but this is an example of what it will look like, appropriate size, colors, textures, tones, things of that sort.
Anything else that you provided me?
I we were reviewing this.
Have you been giving these to Alan as a rule?
Yeah, no. But I've seen many applications like this one. Keep in mind, it's here for visual assessment, so the purview of the review is to see if the project may have an adverse visual impact towards the escarpment. Clearly, I think around swimming pool is not going to be visible. It's an accessory residential structure, so this would be a secret type 2 action. Recommendation would be classified as secret type 2 action and grant visual assessment.
I have just a couple of questions. How much clearing is going to be involved with this?
There's probably 6 or 7 trees, just enough to get sight line. I mean, it's a pretty reasonably open area now. It's on the side lot of the house. There's an existing roll-off barn that's going to be removed, and just a couple few trees.
And how, are you close to an escarpment?
Close to what?
An escarpment, a cliff?
No, we're pulled back off the face. You're not going to see anything looking from the bottom up.
Just curiosity, approximately how much from, let's say, the edge?
Oh, probably 45 foot before it gets unreasonable.
So, I'll sit and take advantage of the views on the plan.
Yeah.
Where is the pool service equipment going to be?
Service equipment is going to be on the north side, farther away, so that's not going to be.
It's not approaching the escarpment?
Correct, no.
Okay. I don't have any issue with it. Motion to approve or disapprove? Motion to approve? Yep. Right? Second. All in favor? Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Lisa will send you an approval letter.
Thank you.
What else do we have, Lisa? What's?
Probably Robbins, solar array. Oh, and Barnwood subdivision. It's fairly.
Let's do Robbins and then Barnwood. Anybody have a problem with that sequence?
No.